Good day everyone, I am Jasper Kirante, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how to install and configure DHCP server, and in other words DHCP installation and configuration. So let's get started. First, we go to server manager and then click manage, then add rules and features, and then you're being navigated to this add rules and features wizard window. This wizard helps you install the rule services or features that you determine which rules, services, or features to install based on the computing needs of your organization. In order to continue, click next, and then you're gonna choose the installation. When you select the installation type, you can install rules and features in a running physical computer or virtual machine. So there are two options here: role-based or feature-based installation and remote desktop service installation. So we're gonna choose role-based or feature-based installation and click next to continue. Then there's one computer fund. Select a server or virtual hard disk which install rules and features. So click next to continue. And then we're gonna select one or more rules to install in the selected server. So in this video, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm installing and configuring the DHCP. So I'm gonna choose DHCP server and then click add features. Then after that, gonna click next and click next again. So a dynamic host configuration protocol allows servers to assign or release IP address to computers and other devices that are enabled as DHCP clients. So there are some things to note: that we should configure at least one static IP address on this computer, and before we install DHCP server, you should plan the subnets, scopes, and exclusions. Click next. Then this is the confirmation installation selections. So before we proceed, we need to click the checkbox restart the destination server automatically if required, then click yes, then install the CP. So view installation progress. We need to wait until the installation is being done. We can close this wizard without interrupting running tasks. View task progress or open this page again by clicking notifications in the command bar and then task details. So after the installation progress is being done, click close, continue. Then after that, we need to click tools, and as you can see here, there's some options. DHCP, choose DHCP, then maximize the window to view more, and then this the server that configured. So there are two options: the IP version 4, IP version 6. If we click this button here, drop down, and we can see the folders, server options, policies and filters. So if we click this, server options, policies and filters, so before proceeding, we need to add a scope. We need to add a new scope. Then click the next. Then I need to fill out some information. So I'm gonna use my name. Then click next. Then configuration settings for DHCP servers. So we need to enter the range of IP addresses that Scout distributes. So my IP address is 192.168.1.101. That's my start IP address, and my end IP address is 192.168.1.200. Then click next, and then we're gonna type the IP address range that we want to exclude. If we want to exclude a single address, type an address start IP address only, 192.168.1.120. Our end IP address is 192.168.1.130. Then click add, and as we can see here below, the excluded address range is being added. Then click next, and these are the windows of list duration. The list duration specifies how long a client can use an IP address from this scope, so we don't need to configure and leave it right as the default state. So click next. You want to configure the DHCP options for this scope now. We need to click next. Yes, I want to configure these options now. Then another navigation page or window, router default gateway. We need to add again an IP address for a router used by clients. So enter the address below. Our IP address default address 192.168.1.1. Then click add. Then click next. And as you can see here, you can specify the parent domain you want the client computers on your network to use for DNS name resolution. And this is the parent domain, my name.local. And as you can see in my previous video, I already configured my domain name, so that's why it appears here. I think it is on Active Directory installation and configuration. So as you notice here, there's IP address. We need to add additional IP address in order to proceed. So I'm going to add 888, then click add. We're validating the DNS server service. If running on 888, this process can take some time due to network traffic. So we need to wait for a second. Yes. Then we need to add that. Yes. So as you notice here below on this IP address, adding a simple address is listed below from what we've had before. So if we want to change this by position or an order, we need to click down, or up. So that's how we can configure it simply, just like when you reformat your laptop, your desktop, and you're being navigated to the BIOS configuration, and so you insert some USB flash drive, and then I think there's some similarities in those situations, because as I reinsert the flash drive or installer, depending on how depending on what operating system that going to use. We need to navigate. I think in most cases you're gonna click the F5 or F6 key in order to down and up the the installer. So I'm just saying, just remember when I reformatting my own laptop. So click next to proceed. And then after that, you want to activate this scope now. So this is the activate scope where clients can obtain addresses. This is only if a scope is activated. So I'm gonna click next, and then when completing the new scope wizard, so you have successfully completed the new scope wizard. So click finish, and then so as you notice here in this side, the scope is being added, and there's some contents of the scope or address pool, address leases, the reservation, scope options, and the policies. So this is it. I think this is it. So we try to refresh the server. And then we need to refresh again. And try to restart. After that, need to click the scope. So also as measured, the contents of scope is already been added, and address pool, as you can see, what I configured earlier in this setup in the DHCP, I figured out IP address where start IP address 192.168.1.101, and the end is 192.168.1.200. So this description, this is the IP range for distribution, and the other one is IP addresses excluded from distribution. So that's our differences. And the address leashes, some reservations, scope options. So as in scope option, there's some routers, DNS servers, DNS and DNS domain name. So this is the DNS domain name. So in other video tutorial, what you saw on YouTube is the only thing that appears here is the 3 and 6 router and DNS servers. It's because they don't install yet the DNS domain name, and in my video tutorial it appears here because I installed already the DNS domain name just for that local in my previous video tutorial here in YouTube. It's being uploaded. I think it is on Active Directory installation and services. So policies, server options. So I think that's all for today in this video. I hope you learned something in my video tutorial. So that's all for today in this video, and thanks for watching my video, and God bless. Goodbye.